Ladies and gents, welcome these wonderful women right here with me. I had some questions about selling on YouTube. I've done Whatnot a handful of times, but YouTube is a little different from my experience. First one was Cali Luis Risa. That was the original name. Now he is Cali Luis. And then Yvonne invited me recently, and people do different things different ways. So I was wondering, rather than asking them individually behind the scenes, let me bring this out to the world for people who are interested or just starting and trying to get some pointers. So we are open to questions for these ladies. Um, First, let's have each one introduce themselves with some questions that I came up with just right now. What got you into reselling and when did it start?
Is that me first?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I was just thrifting. I've always thrifted, but I was thrifting and got to a point where I felt like I was leaving a lot on the shelves, and came up with the idea to just start to inventory some stuff. And I actually started with a website. I put jewelry and all kinds of kind of boho things on a website, came up with the brand, did the whole thing. And then the channel kind of followed suit, and a whole bunch of things happened. But I used to be an executive in an advertising agency. I've been a creative director for years and years and years. And the company that I was working for kind of changed, kind of flipped script on me during COVID. And somebody was hired that I said, no, thanks. I can't do this anymore. And I walked away. So some of my clients came with me, and I've been doing freelance work for the past couple of years and just kind of learning how to resell. And now I'm like all in antique booths and YouTube sales and eBay and kind of loving all of it. So that's a short story.
Angie.
Oh my goodness, I am old school. I've been doing this probably as long as you've been alive, Sonny. I started on eBay in 1998. So I lived in Hawaii. I was at that time a stay-at-home mom with a newborn who was 5 months old. And my neighbor said, you could sell things on the internet. And we still had dial-up back then. And, so if anybody called you, it kicked you off the internet. And I was like, really? And back then, now living in Hawaii, it would be almost impossible to start an eBay business. But back then, you could ship a 2-pound priority mail package to anywhere in the country for $3.20. Location did not matter back then, which was totally awesome. So I just decided to try it, and I could not believe that I would start everything at 99 cents and it would sell like really well. 99 cents because $1 costs more. So you listed it all at 99 cents. And then, gosh, I just fell in love with it. I am that entrepreneurial spirit. I always have been. And so for a lot of my life, I did not do eBay full time, though sometimes I did full-time hours. I was an accountant. And a few years ago, I worked for somebody who was my sister. And I finally one day said, in not pretty words, I am done with this job. I am done with you. And I, on the spur of the moment, walked out the door and never looked back. So now I am a actual full-time reseller, and I support my entire family doing this. But now things change. eBay has changed. And so I find that I do a lot more than just eBay, from cross-listing to Whatnot, to auctions, to local sales. I think part of being a reseller today is learning how to pivot your business. And so that's what I do now, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yvonne.
My turn? Okay.
Hi,
Angie. We talked last night. Hi. So I see a lot of people in the chat that I know. I see some OGs in there. I see Glenn's in there, Swamp Picker. I've been doing this. I don't think I've ever worked for anybody except for 1 year. I was a massage therapy instructor at a trade school and a program supervisor. I lasted 1 year until my first class graduated, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I make more money doing massage, first of all, more money reselling. And what is all, and I understood what all the sitcom jokes about jobs were in that 1 year. I'm like, this is what those sitcoms are talking about. This sucks. Like, it's all true. I thought they were just like making up jokes. No, it was real life jokes, isn't it? For those of you that have worked corporate. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways, I've been doing this since pretty young, 22, I guess. I started at indoor flea markets in Dallas, Texas. We would go in and get a bunch of booths and tear down the walls and make like big stores, because luckily I was in Dallas and there was like, this is right a couple years before the 99-cent stores blew up. So all that stuff was coming in. So we actually had the first 99-cent stores in Dallas inside of a flea market. And then a couple years later, then the Dollar Trees and 99-cent stores blew up everywhere. As a matter of fact, do you guys remember all the 99-cent stores? If you're older, now it's basically just the Dollar Tree. But there used to be a 99-cent store on every corner. It was for
Dollar General, not in Texas.
Yeah. And so that kind of died down, and we're left with the Dollar Tree. But anyways, I did that. I also had a retail store next to a Marshall's up there in Dallas. And then I moved here, got a divorce and moved here. And I had an armed robbery, you guys. So it kind of made me a little afraid to set up my retail store again.
You were robbed?
Yeah, I had an armed robbery at my retail store. The flea market, no problem, because you're with a bunch of other people. But I had a retail store next to a Marshall's in a strip, and I was in there by myself cashiering, and my little daughter, Hanny, was 4. She was back watching cartoons. I had one of those alarm things, though, and I never wore it on the outside where people could see it. I would tuck it in my shirt. So when he pulled out his little gun, which now I know was just like a 20, like it would have hurt, but he wasn't going to kill me with that little 22. Now that I know what it was, I just went like that. And then I pressed the button. I acted like, oh, I'm so afraid. And I pressed my button. I mean, he still got my money. He didn't get anything. He didn't even make me open up the bottom, though. You know how you hide your 20s in the bottom and your 50s? He didn't even make me do that, though. He pretty much wanted in and out. But they caught him. He had been robbing all the little stores. They caught him. But anyways, so now I moved here, and it's the late 90s or mid 90s. And Hannah, my daughter Hannah, she's 14 years old, and she shows me eBay. I'm like, what? Because I had just now bought a CD player, upgraded from 8-track and cassettes and albums to a CD player. I'm like, all right, I give up. I wanted an Alanis Morissette CD. She had just come out, and Jagged Little Pill. And I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta buy it. It's still down here. It's so old, my little Sony. So I didn't really know. I was still using a pager. I'm still rocking a pager, okay, in the mid 90s. And so, but my daughter, so she taught me. So there I went. So I went from online, to where I feel safe now. So I got to blow it back up. And then, here comes Poshmark. And, here and YouTube. Well, we were already doing YouTube stuff, and then YouTube sales, and then now's Whatnot and all these other things. Okay, so that's it, you guys. So that's my selling background. Pretty much all my life. Yeah. And I'm a first wave Gen X, to give you a clue of how old I am now. Like Angie said, we've been doing this since before Sonny and maybe even Amy were born.
I know.
I am not going to correct you, but thank you so much.
Maybe Sonny's older than he looks, because you did do 10 or 11 years in the military, so you just might have a baby face, and Amy has a baby face. But anyways, I go by Yvonne Thrifty Rich on eBay, YouTube. I make thrifting videos, how-to videos, panel shows, things like that. And now on Whatnot, I signed up as Mile High Scene on Whatnot, but I am
going back to Whatnot. Trying to find you. because you would
Yeah.
talk about it, and I was like, I'm not finding her. I'm not finding her. But
And
Whatnot is also isn't as user friendly where you need spaces or not have spaces in between the
Yeah.
words.
and I'm
So
sure
that
I
always gets
can. No, I'm sure I can talk about that when a question comes
yeah.
up of why I did that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What was the question I had? What platforms do you sell on?
I currently sell in a brick and mortar, like I said, and I sell on YouTube. I do some live sales on my channel, and I guest on Yvonne's sometimes. I'm open now, I think, to doing that on other channels, I think. And eBay. eBay is my big platform. I haven't really gone into any other platforms. I've researched them at length, and I do intend to get on the Whatnot train eventually. But I'm in Ohio, so I have to get my auctioneer's license, and that's happening in August.
Oh, where in Ohio are you, Amy?
I'm
What area?
right near Akron. I'm right above Akron. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm from Howland, Ohio, so that's not that far from you.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you live now, Angie? Oh, I'm sorry. This is not
No,
my
that's
show.
okay. Pensacola, Florida. We're just all talking
You guys
to
have
each
to
other.
watch me
Sorry,
when you
Sonny.
invite me.
No, there is no
No rules.
outline for this other than I want everybody to have their time to speak and let the conversation go where it does.
Thank
My
you.
questions were just to break the ice and get it going, to let people be informed of where you are, where you sell, how do you sell, and then there's some more questions I do have about each of these things because again, I am interested in selling on YouTube, not where it's going to be weekly. It might be just once out of a blue moon, but I want to be prepared. And
Yeah.
you all do it differently. And I watch your videos, I watch your lives, and they're different in each way. But it
Mhm.
seems like you have it down in your own style.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so I sell, and hi, Kristen. My girl's in the chat. I had to say hi. So
crew.
basically, I sold on eBay since the beginning. Obviously, I started doing yard sales before eBay, but then I started on eBay. I was a holdout, refusing to cross list for years and years and years. But now I am a Vendu person, and I swear by cross listing for Poshmark and Macari at least. For a while, I did a lot of listing on Facebook Marketplace, but I kind of feel that has died down. They have had growing problems. I used to love Craigslist Hunter because I used to be a huge Craigslist seller back in the day before they kind of became obsolete. But I also do some Whatnot. I still do a few local sales, especially for big items. And when I buy pallets and things, and there's times that I need to unload a large amount of items, it's easy to do that locally to like flea marketers and things like that. And then for a year, I have done a Saturday YouTube auction on my channel that is about 4 hours every Saturday. So it's I'm taking a break for the summer just because it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but yeah, I pretty much will go with the flow, whatever is working, and wherever you got to find a place to sell, because I don't think we're in like a straight line anymore of where to sell. You have to kind of pivot.
Okay, so I'm just now meeting Angie, Sonny. So, so are you in Ohio now, Angie?
No, I'm in
Okay,
Pensacola, Florida.
Florida. Yes, that's what I thought.
Yes.
And then so I was born in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm excited. So Amy's a friend of mine. We talk, we do things together. And so I'm excited to go when I go to the Ohio extravaganza, which I have told Sonny about. I'm begging him to get him and Mikey to come. I'm going to go spend some time with Amy. I'm going to have an extra day.
My family still lives up there, my dad and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I got family there. I'm taking my mom.
That's awesome.
So let's see. So currently I sell on eBay, although it's kind of taken a back seat this last year and a half as I've been developing my YouTube sales. YouTube is probably my favorite. Actually, it's my favorite. Just having a channel is my favorite. I need that because this is kind of a solo job if you're not careful. And so that's how I get my social fix. Now I've been meeting so many other cool resellers. And so YouTube, I do YouTube sales, but I still like eBay, for certain things, and I don't plan on leaving. I do have a Poshmark closet that I have let die in the last 2 years. It's down to 5 items. I'm saving it though. You never know what it's like Angie said, like we follow trends of merchandise to sell. We need to follow trends of the buying platforms too. And you just never know. So I'm not going to close it. Plus I'm a buyer, but I'm going to niche that down to tall girls only is what I have on my to-do list to do. Yeah. And I've got 2 booths now. Yes, I did go back into a flea market type atmosphere. I'm at an antique vintage collectible flea market indoor thing, the largest one here in Colorado. So I did go back, but the deal is, I don't have to stay there. It's a different type than what I grew up with. We would be there. We had employees and we would be there. It was just open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So now this is different. And at first I was like, oh, I'm just going to take all my good stuff and just leave it here. But anyways, it's okay. I haven't had theft that I'm aware of at all. So, they sell it for you. You give them a little commission and or work and or pay rent, whatever. And so I really do love that. And let's see. And I did go back to Whatnot. Now, listen, the verdict's not out with me and Whatnot.
Same.
But you say that, but you are active and participating, as in supporting other people and Whatnot.
I am. And what I'm going to go back because our category has grown more now. Vintage.
What is that category?
Sale, thrifting, estate sales, vintage, and clothing. And a good friend of all of us, actually, Sonny too, Jocelyn, Crazy Lamp Lady, she finally went over there too, reluctantly. She was successful at bringing all her people. She is killing it over there. Like where the rest of us get anywhere from 2 to 100 people, if we're lucky, Jocelyn gets 1,000. It's like the Funko dealers and the what else? The sports cards and whatever. So being a friend, I was lucky enough that she invited me to do a train last month as a thank you to her friends and her moderators. I helped moderate some of her things. And so that was different, right? Because she would pass, she kicked it off and she passed it on to the rest of us. So I'm like, okay. And plus they've changed a few more better features. So I'm going over there, but I'm only doing trains with my friends or other YouTubers that I think are cool and meet. And we're doing half-hour little quickie trains. So far, that's in my head to only do trains. So we're all going to take turns organizing. I'm going to organize one for newbies, for there's some people that used my seller link, and I promised to help them out. Yes, I've invited Amy, but Amy's a friend of mine, but we're waiting. Okay, and I think that's all. I have sold on Craigslist, but it's been a long time. I'm not going to tell that story again. Y'all heard it the other day, so don't make me tell it again. But let's see. And Facebook Marketplace.
Yvonne, other people might not know what a train is on Whatnot.
Oh, I'm sorry. A raid train. You know what? Now let me go to this is not my show. Sonny, you tell them what a raid train is. You tell them now. You take it from here.
A Whatnot raid is where, say, each of us are, it could even just be me and my friends are on here, say on the panel. They're on their own channel and they're just now kicking off and they may have a few people or a lot of people. It doesn't even matter. I could end up saying, I'm finishing up my show. We are going to go raid Amy. And I will tag her inside Whatnot and it automatically pushes everybody over. You don't have an option if you're trying to get out of it. It'll push everybody over. And then what I like about it is that these are people that have similar items more than anything. I try to keep it within the community of resellers that are similar to me. So I know they're expecting almost the same things and looking for similar things. And usually they have better items than me, but I don't want to go there. But it's pretty much how it goes. And you could have it where Amy would go and she does her show. You do a time limit and you could plan it. Mikey Bags of Money and I have done that. with Carrie the Desert Mermaid, and then she'll push it off to somebody else who's new. And we try to work with everybody because we all start somewhere. And that's kind of like the community that we're in now. Is as we grow, we want people to get a little bit of love, but you still just can't expect, hey, a big following is coming my way and people are just going to buy stuff. You still have to bring quality items or items that are a deal for people of what they want. So it's a unique thing because there's different ways of doing whatnot. You make it your own way. It's fascinating and it's fun and it's addicting, but it's a lot different than YouTube sells. So with that, I want to segue into a real quick question right here from Debbie. I believe she's watching. Oh yeah, on YouTube. Some people are watching from Facebook. Thank you for watching the Reseller Cartel group. We have our own group as well. Debbie's asking, real quick, what are your each best flips ever? It could be something recent, something from the past.
It's so funny because I saw this pop up, so I've been sitting here thinking. I'm horrible because a lot of the things that I find that are valuable, I tend to keep. It's bad, right? No, but like I have a very nice curated art collection, and I have been really lucky to find original art and build that collection, which has been exciting. But I have found some really nice things. I'm trying to think of like the biggest flip. I don't know about the biggest flip, but
it could be best. It could be something you didn't expect that would sell, and it sold for more than what you thought, even if it was say $10, $15.
Yeah, no, I was in a Goodwill one time and I found a Bitosi, which is like if you know anything about Italian pottery, it's like the thing to find. I found a Bitosi fish platter, and I thought I was in like a prank because it was just sitting there, and I just couldn't imagine this thing to be sitting on a Goodwill shelf, like, you know, like, oh no, open. So I lifted it up carefully, and I remember hugging it and just like, okay, I'm going home now. And I put it on auction. I posted it on a Facebook page, you know, just to kind of tell people I found it. And they were like, where is it? Where are you putting it? And so I said, to be fair, I'll put it on an eBay auction. And I think it ended up selling for like $365 or $385. And I got it for $3. So that was a nice one. Yeah.
One of your people's, Sean Blevins, the leather coin purses, Amy.
Oh, those were a fun find for sure.
Yeah.
Angie, best flip.
I would say it was last fall, single item flip. We had a new one of those Amazon returns stores that opened up, and I went in and there was an item that I didn't know what it was. It was a big like machine something electronic-y part. I had never heard of it. It was the most expensive day, so it was $14 day, and I'm like, yeah, I think I need to take a chance on whatever that thing is. I literally had no idea. It was some weird electronic, but it did say GE in the corner, so I was like, it's new, it got to be worth something, right? So I didn't look it up or anything. I just stuck it in my cart. I got home, and here it was, an electronic braking system for a train, and not like a model train, for like a passenger train.
Wow.
And I thought, I don't know what to put on this. There's none that have sold whatsoever. So I put on it $1,999. And it must be worth a ton because the company who sold it bought it for me at $1,999.
Wow.
And I didn't know it was them because it just said the person and an address. And I'm thinking, who bought this? You know, a week after I listed it. And here it was the company, you know, their engineering department. So I'm assuming they probably said, how did this lady get our braking system?
Thrifting.
Yeah.
So weird.
That's
like
crazy.
From this Amazon return store, and that I was expecting bad, you know, like they're going to question me where I got it or anything like that. But if they so easily paid $2,000, I'm thinking, what is it actually worth? it was probably worth a ton.
Yeah.
But how cool is that? $14 into $2,000
Amazing.
in a week. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm glad they didn't accuse you of stealing it.
I know, right?
So okay, my best flip. I just told this story that I very rarely tell. That was only the second time. I just told it, so I'm not gonna tell it again. But it's a good one. It's a boob job, but it's over on Nurse Flipper's channel. I just
boob
told it
job?
last Tuesday. Yes. So you guys can go watch that. Let me go on to something else. That was an ordeal.
How do you go into that and then changes?
They can go watch it. They can go watch it.
We'll follow your role.
But here, this is better though, because this can helpful for other people. So I say recently, the coolest thing has been fire and light recycled glass. Now I found my first piece a couple years ago, and it was just a paperweight. I almost put it down, and something at the end made me go back and get it and look at it. It really didn't look like much. It's recycled glass. It kind of looked like a hot mess. And it was orange, I believe. And then I noticed up at the light when I held it to the door, I could see the etching fire and light. And I'm like, oh, okay, $1.99, whatever. So I bought it, and then I researched it. I went, whoa. And I found out the whole story about fire and light glass going out of business in the 90s. Now it's a contemporary glass, but it's a higher end one now. It was just moderate point when they were selling it. But anyways, there's a whole story about that too. I don't want to take up more than my fair share of time. But when I was researching, because this is what I do, when I learn something new, then I'm on it. I go do a deep dive down a rabbit hole. I wanted to see everything they ever made, because I noticed it was blowing up on eBay, like crazy prices. So I think I sold that for a little over $200. And so, and I was looking, and they had these little jewelry caches, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like about 10 years ago, probably while they were still in business, so it wasn't blowing up price-wise, I bought a stack of 6 of these little yellow dishes, and I said, oh, this will be cute little peanut things for my poker parties with the girls, because I'm a poker player. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy these. And I never even used them. They were still with my poker supplies. And I went and I got them out, and I'm like, sure enough, there's 6 fire and light jewelry caches that I bought like 10 years ago that were probably $15, $20 at whatever store carried them, or at their own store in Cali. Now I sold each one. I kept one. I sold them for $60 to $80 a piece. And that was just this. Okay, you guys. So from then on, since I educated myself, I kept finding fire and light. And I eventually did a video. I'm not trying to shamelessly plug, but I did do a video on it. Fire and light recycled glass. If you want to learn about it, because it is still prices are still going up, so you do want, and it's people are still finding it. Okay, so I think that's a good story to share. That's more helpful than my boob job. But if you got time,
I think they're both fascinating.
It's on Cat to Nurse Flipper last Tuesday.
I would say you brought up a good point that when you find something that's valuable, it's good to do research on it rather than what's the next thing to find and learn. Invest a little bit of time to look at that. One thing, when I find something that sells big, like I just had 2 really good orders today of a decanter. I already shipped it off first thing this morning. It sold for $140. I paid $7 for it.
Nice.
And they are Swank, SWANK decanters. And there's a lot of people that have them on eBay, but they're not in the best condition, or it doesn't have the stopper to the decanter. And this person that collected it bought mine because it's the last piece that he needs for his collection. And we had a conversation on there. He's been collecting it for five to 7 years. And I asked him in the eBay message, which I usually don't do, but I was curious because I wanted to add it towards the video. I asked him like, where do you find these? And he does the same thing: eBay, Etsy, Poshmark. And I was like, yes,
it's glass.
It's fine for my people. But it's good to research. I look on OfferUp, everything, especially locally. If it's locally, more than likely I could get a deal if it's on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. But the fire and light, I believe you said the glass. I just looked it up as you're saying it. I probably seen it before and not realized what it was. I probably overlooked it because it doesn't look like the value of what you're saying it is.
No. because it wasn't
Most
sold
pieces.
high end. It was just moderately priced. A few stores carried it and online, and they sold it. It's really fascinating, the whole story too, you guys. So I don't want to take up too much time, but there's a good story about it too. And I wish they wouldn't have went out of business. It's really interesting. Not only is the glass recycled, the molds they used are recycled. But anyways, yeah, I put it in the chat for you guys. If you haven't heard all of us other resellers, especially in the vintage community side, talk about Fire and Light all the time. That and Glassy, baby.
I still have yet to find Glassy.
Me neither.
Me neither. My aunt found one.
Some people
when I was
find
with
it
her.
all the time. What was I gonna say? So you all three do sales on YouTube. How did you start? And how much items did you start with?
I always joke that Yvonne popped my cherry.
Hey, it's night time. It's after 5.
I like this panel a lot.
She invited me. I mean, we were starting to talk and everything, and she said, would you consider, doing a sale? And I said, with you, yes, I would be honored. And so I came over and did a sale with her. And then it was probably a few months later, I decided, okay, I'm going to try this on my own. I'm not, I don't know, very comfortable with selling. I say that, but I'm doing it. So it's not hard to do. But when I do it on my channel, I like to have a lot of fun. I like to chat a lot. I think that's what drew me to Yvonne too, because it was like, here we've kind of curated not only the things, but a community of people who are like-minded and cool. So like you get to engage with them, which is really awesome. So it was like, okay, I'm going to do like an hour and a half, and like at least half an hour of that's going to be just chat. And so we're going to just sell in an hour and give something away and be done. And that's been my general rule. And I sell things 2 at a time. So I do what's called like a choice
Can you give an
auction.
example? Or have 2 things next to you that you could run it off with?
Here, these are up for auction. I don't use auction terms.
Right.
I say these 2 things are for sale. Make me an offer. I'll start with an offer of $4, and then everybody can jump in and make offers. And the thing is that you don't really know what they're offering for, but at the end when they make their choice. And sometimes they take both things, or sometimes they take one thing. And then usually when you go to the next person that was in line, they dropped out because maybe they were going for the other thing. So you give it to them at that price. So you've sold now 2 things in the same amount of time as you would one. And sometimes I do that with 3 things. Like if I have 3 like items, I'll say all 3 of these things are up. I'm gonna start them at $2 and see where it goes. So that's just how I do it, and it's worked out really nice. It's kind of allowed me to make quick within just that hour, make some money. And I've just been doing it 1 time a month because I noticed that it impacts my algorithms because the viewing is different, right? And then I also do what I call an unlive sale, which I do right in the middle of the month. And it's basically a drop sale. So it's a recorded sale, but all of the offers, it's like an auction style. All the offers are inside the comments. So I just do 10 items, and then I put item number 1, and I say what it is, and I say what the starting price is. And then everybody kind of battles it out in the comments. And which is cool because
that is a pre-recorded video and people
is.
comment after?
It is. Yep. I start the comments with the items and the item numbers. It's a really cool concept, and it's actually not my idea. I don't take credit for it. It was started by my friend Richard. His channel is a vintage art guy. He's not active right now, but he's hilarious. And he came up with this out of the blue, and then I stole it. I told him I would steal it. But it's totally his concept. It's brilliant. But yeah, I do that once a month. And that also I found is it takes a couple of videos then to kind of come back up to my normal viewing, because it's not viewed as much as my normal videos. So I have to just kind of be careful if, I want the numbers to continue to gradually grow with my live sales. So That's why I'm happy right now to, take invitations for selling on other channels because I can do that, without maybe damaging my algorithms. But I see other people very successful at having regular sales and continuing growth on their channels. So I just maybe am not at the height yet of my subscriber base that I can do that. I don't know.
But you do very well.
Yeah.
And one, I would say Angie is pretty consistent on hers, and I get emails from it. And that's one thing
Yep.
I do want to ask, because there's other things other than, hey, I get on YouTube and I sell stuff. They bring items that I would say match them and what they're looking for, and then they learn about their viewers, customers. And I think it intrigues a lot of people too that aren't customers and they're watching and they're like, oh, wait, that's pretty, or I need that. That's a necessity. So Angie, what do you do to notify your potential customers of when you got things going on, as in your sales?
Yeah, for me, I have a lot of resellers that I think it's interesting in the YouTube auction world in that some people are just have auctions and they have all the collectible and the glassware people, and mine is not like that at all. I have a ton of resellers who come to mine. So what I do is, when you register, I just register their emails with Jotform, and then they get notified when we're going to have a sale. And so, usually it's just once a week because I have them on Saturdays, and it'll kind of say what we're doing that day. So if we're having, sometimes my mom makes fudge, like homemade fudge, and people love,
Yummy.
we sold out
Sells
every
out.
time. And or we'll be doing certain games, or we're selling certain things. But for me, I started the auctions not because I wanted to. If you want to know the truth, my mom loves auctions on YouTube, and she said we should have one. And I was like, and then pretty soon it's a year later, and we're having one every single Saturday. So it started out, we were going to sell for like an hour or so, and it pretty much is now like 4 hours every Saturday of selling, about 150 items every single week. So it's grown like enormously. But I think part of it is, being consistent. And so for everyone who came, it was like their Saturday event. We hung out. It was our friends, and rather than people going out on Saturday night, they come and hung out at Angie's, and so that was like really nice. And so that I think keeping them informed and letting them know, not only by YouTube sending out notices, but by keeping informed, like with a newsletter or something like that, is definitely a great way to do it. And then always keeping communication open, so that if people have questions about anything, or do you have this or whatever, being available. I always looked at it like I was, I'm hanging out with my friends. So it's kind of great to do that. And I really try to, for my auction, try to give everyone really good deals that they can also resell. So that's kind of my focus, which is a lot different than a lot of other auctions. And I think that's great. We can all do what works, for our particular brand. So, yep.
Okay. I could see a need for that, Angie, because a lot of people I have a ton of thrift stores. Like, I can't even get to all of them, and they're all on the same drag, the same main street. But some people have to drive an hour just for one inky dinky thrift store, but they want to resell, so I can see where that would be very helpful. Okay, so me, like Amy said, also, okay. Let me back up to the original question. I reluctantly did that too, you guys. I went down kicking and screaming a little bit, and I'll tell you why. At the time when I started the only person I knew that was doing them was on the general merchandise side, and it was Donatella and T. And, they did okay. And Global Voodoo and OG, They did okay. Wasn't anything to get excited about. But then in the vintage community, I saw a couple, I'm not going to name drop, but there was just a handful of people that were starting to do it. And at first it got a little backlash. but that might have just been because of the way they ran it and their personality type. And so eventually, though, I said, "Oh, I'm going to go ahead and give it a try," and I really do like it. Now, I think I mentioned earlier, to me, out of everything I do, my favorite is my YouTube channel. Anything else I do falls under my YouTube channel. It needs to funnel to my YouTube channel or support my YouTube channel. That's where I have the most fun. That's where I get my social interaction fix, as well as I'm building, my regulars that, I know them, they know me. If I don't see them around after a while, I even hit them up. Are you okay? It's like that. And I think it's like that with all of us after a while. Now, what Amy said, oh, look at me. Now, the ruler from the sale. I was going to be like, now what Amy said, how do you say, gestural talker, whatever, with my hands and everything. But Amy touched on something interesting, which explains why I would just do my sales randomly, because they're fun and they're okay, but I didn't want them to take away from my thrifting videos and that my viewer base loves. Resellers, thrifters, people who can't get out of the house, they depend on some of our thrifting videos for their vicarious enjoyment, And anyway, so I was kind of reluctant to do too many, and it just seemed kind of tacky at first, But it's blown up now. Of course, there's 3,000 of us now doing YouTube sales. Yeah. So I said, okay, now, and Kat, the nurse flipper, joined me, and we said, hey, let's do this every first Wednesday of the month and see if we can grow it. And we did that until she found Whatnot, but that's another story. So my sweet friend Kat went over to Whatnot, and I replaced her with the Thrifting Twins. And then I added another Wednesday with Kate and Kathy. And Amy, whenever she's in the mood, comes over. And then I thought, okay,
whenever she's in the mood,
yeah, but she does her own too, and and the unlive, which I'm stealing her unlive too. Sherry knows. I already told her that I'm stealing that too.
Everybody should try it.
It's cool. Great. It's a cool addition, and because of what Amy's saying is, okay, first of all, I need to be consistent. You cannot. To me, I realize if you really want to grow your base for your sales, you need to pick some times and some days and be consistent. I was kind of doing it willy-nilly, and that's okay too, but I do better if I stay consistent. So last month was my first month. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do all Wednesdays now. So right. I'm doing all Wednesdays. I picked a time. I'm not going to deviate. So I'll get, you guys can ask me in a couple months or watch and see how my attendance grows by being consistent, because there are so many of us, and, we're all busy. Our viewers and subscribers and friends are busy too. Like I can't remember everything. Neither can they. So if you're consistent, it helps.
For sure.
But now back to the algorithm, like Amy brought up, there is a problem with YouTube and doing live sales.
Even lives like this.
Yes, even a panel show. For most of us, it just doesn't get as much views, and it might be because most of us choose not to run commercials during a live.
I was trying that for the past few weeks.
Is it going okay? They don't like it, do they?
It started off good, but then I saw that it started going down, so I just removed it. I'll just add them immediately after. And for some people may be thinking like, why does that even care about algorithm? We're trying to grow. The auctions and sales are to make money, and the being monetized helps make money. When you go on YouTube, you may not want to or think about being monetized, but then as you grow, you're like, hold on, wait a minute, I'm getting close to being monetized. Or I mentioned my way up. It's taken me years to get here. And when something grows in your favor and it's good, you want it to grow. You want it to be your money tree. And that's why these things are important. But what I value more than anything, why I'm not going to say I sacrifice the panels and inviting people, because I love people. I'm a people person. But I like the value in knowing that there's some answers or things that people may not have thought about, that now it's brought up and they're like, oh, that's going to help me. I didn't know I needed that. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe even a month from now, it's going to dawn on you, wait, one of these ladies here said this. That's the answer to this thing where if I didn't hear it, I may not have gone past this and been figuring it out. So I do want to go with what Yvonne said. about consistency and being consistent. You have your certain days that you sell on. What does it take to get to that sell day? What's your kind of pattern of finding items? Because it's not guaranteed you're going to find items to get to that date.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to plan for it. So it's interesting, Sonny, because you mentioned this. When you start to really build up an audience and you get to know people, and I'm truly invested in my audience. The growth actually is kind of like a double-edged sword for me, because it scares me a little bit, because I don't want to get to a point where I can't talk to everybody who's watching, because the appreciation that I have is so authentic, because I know what it takes to spend time, watching other people and engaging with other people. And when you get it back, it's like, man, here's somebody that I care about that's watching and engaging with me. So like, you have to really, take that into account, because it's hard to, to measure that. But I will shop with intent. So I have the different platforms, and when I see something out there, I know when I pick it up, if it's going to the booth, if it's going to eBay, or if it's coming to a live. And that's based on my audience. I know what I've successfully sold in the past. I know what, if I show something maybe in a haul video or when I'm shopping, I know how many people said, oh my gosh, that thing. So that thing is like in the back of my mind when I'm shopping. I'm going to look for that thing, because I know that there's multiple people out there who are going to show up to a sale when I have it. And then prior to the sale, I'm going to make sure that I've caught it on a reel. I've shared it on Instagram. I've got a table full of stuff, and that thing is sitting there, and I'm telling everybody, hey, that thing is coming to the sale. Don't miss it. All those things, sharing the photos on Instagram and Facebook, and doing little, promotions so that people know that it's coming, talking about it in my videos as it's coming up, reminding people like next week is going to be an on live sale. Get ready. It'll be good. Whatever it is, kind of teasing the fact that it's happening.
But promoting it. Yeah.
Yeah. Promoting it. So yeah. So keeping in mind what you have, and I always have enough stuff. Always. I think Yvonne and I are very similar. Like, I have, and someday maybe I'll share my basement, but I literally have a wall of bankers boxes that are all labeled by thing. And then I have a whole nother section that's all labeled by season, that are boxes that I can take down price and take to the booth. So I'm like organized in a way that I can like, okay, what do I need, this month, and I've got a live box, and I've got other boxes for giveaways, and everything's kind of in a place where I can access it and pull it and look at it together, see how it looks in a curated. Do I have pottery and glass and, linens, and, I kind of have a whole process of doing it. So.
Or we could go hit our booths and pull from our booth.
I do that too.
I do that sometimes.
I do that too. Yeah.
I have never sold in a booth.
No.
That's crazy. I always wanted to, but now we don't even have a good place to do that.
Yeah.
We had a really big place, and a hurricane came, and now it's apartment building. They tore down and built a new one. So, for as far as my auction getting ready, I do volume. So I have to source with the auction in mind, and people want really good deals. So I do a lot of sourcing from, Goodwill bins, and when like my Amazon return store has like $3 day or, $5 day, I'm there, and I'm like buying a lot of stuff for it. And so I took the summer off just to give myself a chance to like refocus a little bit on eBay, because I kind of found that I was spending the majority of my time sourcing for my auction and not for my business, because the auctions was becoming my business, but that's not where I make my money. Right. And so I just needed to refocus and maybe take a break from sourcing for the auction only, because when you sell as many items as I do, it's literally a constant, constant in, door. You have to cycle a lot of items through. But I think key is knowing your audience. I know what, after a year of doing it every single Saturday, I know what they like. I know what they don't like. I know the kind of plush that I can buy and guarantee it's going to sell, and ones that, I'm going to lot together with 5 other ones and hopefully someone buys it. And like clothes. I have a really big draw for like men's and women's bigger clothes. So, I really try to source for those specific items, and they do really, really well. But I'm a deal shopper, so I really enjoy going and doing that, and always looking for the next score that I can, find a bunch of items and stuff. And I'm so excited when I can bring them like new items for a great deal. So, but it's a challenge for me because I don't have. I feel like these ladies have such like a targeted audience, and I have such a varied. They want, from toys to ephemera to clothes to jewelry. So I have to have a lot of everything, and so honestly, I'm enjoying a little bit of a break for a few weeks before I get back into it, but I just really love it. The community is so great. And I feel like every person that comes in is like truly my friend. They like message me if I'm having a bad day, and they think that, if I'll say, I just, had a really stressful day, I get 12 messages like telling me, you got this, Angie, like how much they appreciate me, and just like the friendship that I give them. And I'm like, it's not replaceable. So
100%, yeah.
I'll gladly do it because I just really love this community so much.
Yeah, pretty much what both girls have already said. I think if I was to give someone advice that wanted to just start out, I would say, we have a lot of competition now. It used to be a handful of us. Now there are so many. Now, a lot of them are going over to Whatnot because they feel like it's easier, but I think they're going to come back because if you're, I'm going to stay on track. If you're a new seller, Whatnot's even harder. Okay. But anyways, I would say sell what you love. That's what because then that passion and that love comes through. It doesn't feel like work. It's not tedious. So just kind of the same advice I would give, like for selling on eBay or anything. What is it that you love to go look for, and seems to be not too hard to find in your area, and do that. See, and try to be consistent. How I picked a day, Sonny, you asked about that, is okay, since I'm leaning, I know people in the general merchandise side, in the vintage community, there's a little subset too of kitsch within the vintage, like strictly hardcore kitsch. So I'm through Kate, Follow That Bug, that I'm associated with now. She's teaching me a lot, and I'm learning a lot about that little subset of a group. And okay, so I looked around, and I'm like, okay, who are the bigger channels? When are my friends? When's George the Antique Nomad on? Like, I dropped my sales down 2 hours so we can all go watch him.
Yeah.
So I was coming on the same time. When is so-and-so on? When is so-and-so on? And I found a day where they're not really doing it, and we kind of share the same customers, and I slid myself in there, and it was Wednesday. And Wednesday felt good to me. Mondays are rough, right? If we're doing eBay too, we usually have a lot of shipping to do on Monday, or whatever other household duties we have usually come on a Monday. We might have had too much fun over the weekend, and we need Monday to recoup. Who knows? But Mondays are Mondays, right? Anyway, so I chose Wednesday, and that gives me time to send out invoices and maybe get stuff shipped out by the end of the week. Now, currently I'm doing open boxes, which I'll talk about that again on another question, so I can pass back up to Sonny.
Well, I find that consistency is different for everybody, and the build up to the sell date, and particularly for you three, is your sell dates that you work on. Other than I find items and I list it on eBay, or I use List Perfectly, or like Angie using Vindu, I believe she said.
Yes.
There's different processes that people use, and that's what I wanted to bring it up to show people. there's no one way of doing anything. It's your comfort zone, your structure. You have to follow your own means to your madness. And even if other people don't agree, you have to follow through with you and then learn from it and tweak it along the way. It's always going to be changing. Yvonne said that earlier, and I'm going to reiterate it. You got to adapt. And Angie, I believe, said that too. And that's been a process since I've been reselling for over 6 years, is that it's consistently changed. For me, specifically being an online reseller, even on Whatnot and whatever else I sell on, things come and go, the trends. Apparel used to be a big thing for t-shirts, which are like 5 years old, 10 years old, not necessarily vintage. So I got a lot of education on my own doing it. And then when that ran out and started getting hard to find, not because of other resellers, they just don't, people don't donate the same things all the time. So trying to travel for it, I started looking at things and wondering what else is there that I could do. So then I started getting into shoes, and I started getting across dress shoes. When that ran out, I realized jeans nobody was touching. And within 2 minutes, I found a $7 jean that sold for over $140. And that's when I started learning about selvage jeans. And then just what Yvonne was saying earlier is learn from it rather than find one thing and what's the next thing. You got to do your research so you could find other things. Because the light and fire glass, if you look at it, she also mentions jewelry. I would have never bothered to look at jewelry. I would have just took it for that one glass that I seen and not look at the whole scheme of what that brand is and how it's come a long way and the true bolos for it. Because it looks like normal everyday glass almost. But then when you look at it closely, it's like, oh, wait, okay, I see a little difference. Mary 365 just got out of surgery. She had a little short today, and I was like, what the hell is this woman doing? But she is very resilient. She is a great person in the community. Thank you for being here. Get a lot of rest, and I hope you feel better very soon. Let me knock this
Mary.
up.
Love you, Mary.
For you.
Jocelyn's in the house.
I see it.
We
Let me
saw
get
Jocelyn.
Super chat.
So yeah. Thank you, Mary. Thank you very, very much. And I did see the chat saying hello to Jocelyn. I was seeing her today earlier, and it's kind of seeing her earlier today on Whatnot, which I've been in several Whatnots. I ended up gifting the chat, and she was saying she didn't know what I was like, what happened, and why my name was highlighted. And we could all learn from everybody else too, just little things to go a long way. I didn't know about the gifting on Whatnot until somebody else did it, and I was wondering like what just happened here. And I think it's pretty cool that there's these different things that you could do other than buying for yourself. You could gift somebody else. But with sales, how long or what is it that you're looking at from your auctions that you want to grow from?
What is it that I want to grow from?
Like in a few months, like do you want to sell more? Or
It's-
do you want to just sell a certain number and stay there?
Yeah, that's a great question because I was kind of touching on this before. I'm in a place where I'm trying to find the balance of, do I want to grow the channel? And like you said, Sonny, the monetization factor, like I make like nothing on YouTube, which I told my audience and my friends a while back, and they're like, what do you mean you make nothing? I'm like not like very, very little. It's a lot of work to make a little. And then I get on and I can do some sales, and like the unlive sales where I sell 10 items in, once a month. I had planned to do those like weekly because I can make a quick, $150 to $200 on 10 items. And if I do that 4 times a month, that's some real money. So I have to, consider, do I want to sacrifice the channel growth and possible future income on, on a YouTube level to make money now, or do I want to make money now and, stunt that growth? So I'm not really sure. I'm kind of settled into the 2 sales a month, 1 live, one unlive. And I think that I will venture out and sell on some other channels more. And hopefully after August, when I have my auctioneer's license, I will jump on Whatnot and see what that's all about. So yeah, I think the growth is probably going to be me venturing out into the community a little bit more, and then over into Whatnot when I can officially be there.
Interesting. I find it interesting that every state is different, and that you would think that Whatnot, being what it is, you would need an auctioneer's license, but they say in their terms and conditions that it's a social platform and not an auction
Yeah,
site.
very clearly they state that.
So, yeah, for whatever state you're in, check your guidelines because not everyone can sell on Whatnot. As far as my goals, I guess, for the auction, I actually think I want to downsize a bit when I go back to it because for me, I don't have like big aspirations for YouTube. I did it because I felt like I had a lot to offer people in teaching because I've done reselling for such a long time. And then I fell in love with the people in this community and have made the absolute best friends. Kristen, a rural squirrel, and I, we had a get together over this weekend in St. Louis.
Just in a
And
video
just
today.
yeah, and just people came and we had the most amazing time to get to sit down with people and who are your people. They get you. They get the reselling. They get your excitement and all the things that you find that, you know, that's really what I do YouTube about. So I'm not really trying to look to grow my auction or it to become anything other than kind of what it is and maybe make it a little easier for me and maybe not quite sell as many items or have it to be quite as long. Because for me, it's the value is in the relationships. So as long as I can keep helping people grow their reselling and be a guide for other people and continue to have great friendships, I'm succeeding. I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing and what I want to be doing. So, I don't know what else to say because I mean, really, I'm already there and doing exactly what I hope to do. So,
That's awesome.
Well, I've already confessed that YouTube is my number one. Everything I do, I hope funnels to my YouTube. How I approach my sales. So I am going to be consistent. I am going to go ahead and try to do every Wednesday. So that is adding one live a week. And then plus every once in a while, I do a random friend mail live unboxing. I do a random panel show. So yes, I'm worried about, my metrics and the algorithm. So but I love YouTube. And what I love most is photography. I studied that also a little bit in college, and I like photojournalism, and I have an artistic temperament, so I love that part of it. So I do want to make some money though from YouTube because then you get to upgrade your equipment and buy the latest, best cool new thing, and I don't have to go get a secular job, so I can keep doing what I love. So I am trying to pump out more thrift with me static. We call them static videos. Okay, they're somewhat evergreen. They're static, and those get pushed out. None of us really said that part about what the problem is with lives that don't get as many views because there's no commercials. It's because YouTube probably, we don't know, but it makes sense. They're not going to push those out so hard. There's no commercials. That's how they make their money. So anyways,
right.
I try to do at least 3 static videos a week. Now I just had another death in the family, so I'm helping my mom out, but I'm about to, get back on it. And so this is how it ties together. Okay, so I love my viewers, I love my subscribers. I love going out thrifting and finding things for my booth, for eBay, and for the sales. So for the sales, I specifically buy things that I know my people, my tribe are going to like and want. And I basically start them at about what I paid for, plus maybe like $1. I am not worried about making money off my YouTube buyers because they're also my viewers that watch my other content, which helps me earn the money. Mm-hmm. So that's like a thank you to them and for them to remember me and to get in the habit of coming back. So I kind of do that gratuitously. I might sell 10 to 12 items, but I feel like enough static videos might offset the lives. I did notice that quite a few YouTubers that sold lives quite a few of them split their channels and started a separate channel
Right.
just for lives.
I saw that.
I chose not to do that just yet. I think if I can get back on track of doing at least 3 static videos that I'd like to do every day, I think I can manage just fine. I'm still growing. It's at a slow pace, but I'm still growing. And I network a lot. I make friends with all the cool people. If you're a cool person, I go grab you. I spotted Sonny about 2 years ago. I had to wait a little bit, but it all turned out great. So I went for it.
2 years.
And I watched Amy
That's a
for a while,
wait.
and I'm like, that's going to be my girl too. And then I just discovered Angie, who Angie really is. And I watched a bunch of hers, and we already chatted in the background last night. I'm like, okay, you're my new friend too. So anyways, so I got off track. There was one more thing I wanted to say about, okay, so when I'm out buying, I buy, things that I can sell and well, Jocelyn, you're a whole different story. I was a fangirl like way back before you even knew who I was. Jocelyn's going like me. Jocelyn's become a close personal friend too. But that's just a given, right? Who doesn't love Jocelyn's channel? So I was a fangirl and sticking up for Jocelyn before she even knew who I was. So I think finally I was bugging Andrew, and finally Andrew said, will you go talk to this girl? Go talk to this lady. And then we became friends. But anyways, dang it, it was something I wanted to say. So probably like Amy and like everyone else, and probably Sonny, like you too now. This will be great on Whatnot, because I hear you in your videos, Sonny. This will be good for eBay. This will be, we kind of know when
That's what I believe. Although there are items I know I could get more on eBay, but I'm looking at the quick turnaround on things too. So some things are more of also a thank you, like you said, how you see your supporters, and you're not going to get as much views, but it balances out in your own way. Same thing with the items that I get. I want to show people I'm not trying to always get the top dollar, especially like on eBay. You could want to list things top dollar, doesn't mean you're going to get top dollar. So I'm open to just making profits as long as I'm happy for it, regardless of what somebody else thinks. But if I get top dollar, even better. It's awesome. But I will say, the question up on here, I want to get to those. I've heard this question before. I don't know the answer. I don't know the true answer.
The answer is, you can't select what's sponsoring you. And it's always funny because I let ads play through, like on my people's channels. I let ads play through, and oh my gosh, I think it was your channel, Yvonne. I had to watch some crazy thing for I didn't actually watch it, but it was like playing for half an hour.
Go get a drink or go tinkle.
Yeah, I was like, are you serious? Like, how did this show up on her channel? Because I know you, and I'm like, this has nothing to do.
I wouldn't have liked it.
With
Is that what you're saying?
It was not like something I would imagine would be tied to you, but I let it play through because I knew you'd get the credit for it. But you can't select like what is going to pop up, but you can select when you are monetized how they will show up. You can say let it, play at the beginning, play at the end, mid-range. Like there's some little selection that you can do for that. But yeah, that's about it.
That's pretty much the right answer.
Yeah. Okay, that, and I can add one thing that we touched base on. Now we do have the option. We used to have it, and they brought it back, I guess, to put in ads during live shows.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that way like 10 years ago or whatever. There was only a few channels in the thrifting and reselling though. And so, okay, Chad Golden Finger Picker and Craigslist Hunter and Ronnie Hart. So Chad would just say, okay, here comes a commercial. So we would just wait. He would wait till nobody's talking anymore. We would either talk to each other in the chat or go get a drink, and then we'd come back. So there's a possibility that if you talk to your viewers and be like, hey, I really would like to have some ads during my lives because that money's going to help me buy a better camera or a better mic for you, to film for you guys. They might be patient with you. And just remember to be like, okay, here comes a commercial. I'll see you guys in, I don't know, what is it, 45 seconds, whatever it is. It's a possibility. Yeah. We used to put up with it. We used to do it for the people that we loved. We did. We didn't mind. We
It's all
waited.
trial and error too. It's trying to figure out what works and what
Totally right.
pleases people too. It's not so much it may sound mean. It's not so much catering to the viewers. It's trying to find again that balance. If it annoys me, then I'm going to stop, which I did too.
Yeah.
So I ended up stopping it, but as soon as the live is over, I'm going to go and plug them in.
Yeah.
And you could do that. You could manually select the timings of you want. So if you ever wonder, like when you're going to watch a really good part and you're leaning forward into it, like the movies, when it just slaps you in the face with an ad, you're like, oh, come on. You're invested in it. And those are
Yep.
what people call cliffhangers.
I
So
do mine manually too. Cliffhanger.
I try not to always have it on a cliffhanger because I feel like you learn subconsciously, like, oh, I'm falling into it. Here comes the damn commercial. You know, so sometimes I let it go. I was like, oh, wait, he didn't do it this time. So I'm learning a little bit of stuff like this, but I think it's really good. It's just like when you watch regular TV that has ads too. They do the same thing, not just on YouTube. Really good question right here next. Guitar Missy, does YouTube take a percentage of sales? So how do you receive sales and how do those fees work? I think that would be a good addition to that question.
Yeah. So if you're doing live sales on YouTube, YouTube is not taking a portion of that sale. You're probably invoicing and using PayPal, which is going to cost you a fee. And you're going to have to pay taxes on that, especially coming up. If you make more than a certain amount, they're definitely going to be sending you the paperwork, the IRS is, to get you to pay taxes on all that. But that's where you end up paying a percentage of your sales, not to YouTube, but to PayPal and the government.
Right. PayPal is currently 50 cents per transaction and 3.4% of your total. And I guess my answer is we don't pay PayPal, or we don't pay YouTube yet.
Yeah.
Because YouTube just came up with live sales for people who have shops like Shopify, where you can do a live sale and people can be watching you and do an automatic purchase. It'll purchase directly through the channel and it'll come off of your Shopify or whatever other storefront that you have. And I imagine anyone signing up for that, YouTube is taking fees off of that. So I do imagine that they're not going to be happy for the long run, not monetizing themselves in YouTube sales. So eventually, I think that we will have to pay, and that YouTube might be an intermediary, kind of like Whatnot is doing. I'm not completely opposed to that, because if they could do things that help with invoicing, I would be open to it. But for now, we're very lucky. I do worry about the longevity of it, because with the dawn of all the online auctions, all the auctioneers in the country and different laws per state, they're cracking down. And so, I know Kat, the nurse flipper, she got her auctioneer's license, even though right now it's like kind of a gray area here in Florida. Yeah. But I imagine change is coming, and just be prepared if you're doing an auction that you're going to have to change with it as it comes.
Yeah, everything they said. So I can't really add too much to it, except that this is why I wasn't that thrilled with Whatnot. I'm like a lot of people of my friends are like, I'm going to go over to Whatnot. I'm sick of invoicing people and they don't pay and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't have those problems. Every once in a while, someone might not pay. And guess what? I don't care. I don't harass them or anything. You're just going to see it in the next sale. Like, I'm not even worried about it. That's not where I make my money, is the little things I sell during a sale. Yeah. That's a gratuitous thing, as a thank you and let's have fun. And I'm a personal shopper. I know you guys like these things. Let me make a couple bucks. Sometimes they surprise me and fight over things. Yeah, I'll admit. And I'm like, whoa, you guys. And then I usually add extra gifts in their box.
Right.
If I feel like they paid more than what they could have just went to eBay. But anyways, darn it, there was something I was going to say. But for me personally, so I'm like, I'm not giving up 8% to Whatnot. Yeah. And I've been writing to YouTube. I am on the beta for the live sales. I did they did ask me about that because I've been bugging them for months now. So they're probably like, well, Yvonne would probably want to check out this little thing. Let's throw her a bone. But I'm not quite happy with that. That's not what I want. I want to be able to take immediate payment somehow. And yes, like Angie says, I'd be willing to give YouTube a little bit of cut. I'm still making a little on the back end. Anyways, I'll be real forthcoming. I have a small channel still. I just rolled over to 21.8. Okay,
congratulations.
You guys, I'm conservative on my ads that I place. I'm conservative. So I might not make as much as someone in my same position. I am currently getting, for a static video, my Thrift With Me videos, I usually get about 5,000 to 6,000 views on average for that first month. And I make about $100 per, if everything goes right, if it doesn't go viral, if it doesn't go under, for the first month, because you always get revenue, but it trickles off. The first month, each Thrift With Me video makes me about $100. A sale video for the first month makes me $10. And I usually give that to whoever shot called for me. I send it to them in PayPal. So nice. As a thank you, I don't let my shot callers work for free. So you can see where, but I want to nurture my YouTube because there's so much potential. I know people that are making a grip of money. I'm not talking about the Casey Neistats. I mean, even in our little community, there's some people making mind-blowing amounts of money on their YouTube channel. Okay. So, and all of you know some resellers, I'm sure, where you thought, are they really a reseller or do they just make money off the YouTube? You know, all of us know people
maybe
like
it's
that.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, which is another reason why I want to have sales and booths, because I do go thrifting so much. I got to have some place to put all this stuff, right?
Put all that money at.
Yeah, I can't just put it in the cart and say, oh, I'm going to buy it, and then I didn't really buy it. That's not cool either, because a lot of you will, anyways, you're going to hit me up and go, I want that, before I even get home, you know, or whatever, before the video's even done rolling, I should say. So I better have bought what's in my cart. So I'm not faking or anything, but you need, you know, okay. I think I added enough to that question, right? Yeah.
And I think something interesting about YouTube auctions is if you set your guidelines of your expectations from the get-go and you are clear about it, your customers and your viewers know it. I say that I invoice within 24 hours and I expect payment within 24 hours and then I'll ship within 24 hours. It's amazing. Everyone pays. But then I go and I watch other people's auctions and they're like, well, I'll pay or I'll invoice you maybe next week, or I haven't been able to invoice for a month. Then are you really surprised when people don't pay you? You know, if you're going to have an auction, be clear about your expectations, not only that you're going to put out for them, but you expect in return. And I think if you can't invoice on a regular basis, maybe this is not the best thing for you, because
really not that hard.
Yeah, it's not. And you have to be consistent because, you know, you want people to count on you, but you can't expect them to, you know, pay you immediately when you're not doing your half. So just be, you know, be upfront and meet your obligations. That's all.
And know that it doesn't have to be 24 hours. Me personally.
No. But that's just my guidelines.
I'm just wanting them to know, like me personally, I'll be like probably 2 days, maybe 3 if my mom needs help. You know, right now I'm keeping open boxes. I'm not invoicing you till the end of the month. I'm keeping open boxes so people can save shipping. And I'm saying, if you want me to invoice you. And then Sonny, you just did your first YouTube sale with me. Was it that hard to invoice through PayPal?
No, no, but what I should have, because it was my first time doing it this way. Callie Louise does it different. And it's just trying to learn what works, which is, again, questions of, I see now only 2 people of how they do it. And then I'm trying to just put it together. No, it wasn't hard at all. And the customers, I would say, that purchased the items messaged me within 2 days. And I think that's pretty fast because it's later in the evening. You know, it's like a trust factor or the loyalty program, unwritten rules of, hey, I bought this, I'm going to reach out to you. and who knows what's going on again, as in right now, what people are going through. And once they close out, oh, my dog or my cat or emergency or something little that just distracts you. We're people, so we got other things going on. So money isn't, it's fun and it's cool to receive, but you do have to be open to the possibility that, maybe they just forgot, as I forget all the time, which, that's my excuse for me and my wife. For me forgetting is me saying I forget all the time. So I get it. I did have a question, and this is about, I think eBay. Josh, I'm going on vacation for 3 weeks and closing my store. Do you think I have a few drafts or posts a day while I'm gone? Will the algorithm not send sales to me or send traffic pretty much? So I would say for me, I'm going on vacation. Friday, I'm going to the Big Island, Hawaii. I'll be all over Hilo and Kona.
Fun.
My wife's birthday. So we're gonna be out there. And what I do, and I've learned a while back, is people say keep posting items to sell to keep the algorithm going. I've learned I just do one at least, but I create drafts in advance, photos, and I have everything. Now I have a list perfectly, so I have the drafts in there. So when I go, I'll just send 1 or 2 items, and I have quite a bit of stuff, so I could send more than that daily. But I also add that my time frame of shipping is different, not just because I'm on time away now, which is really easy to do, to set up on eBay if that's what Josh is talking about. I do the time away, the time when I return. I also have a personal note that goes with it. Please do not order anything if you need it right away. And I am pretty prompt on replying to messages if you have any questions, and I'll send your item as soon as I return. But I usually have also a 2-day leeway. Even say I'm going to return tomorrow, I give myself 2 days. So that way they already know. And if I happen to be driving somewhere here within the mainland, we stay another 2 days, I'm safe. So it's kind of cool. Even when, although you've been waiting a week, you get your items a little faster. So I kind of think of it that way. And then what was another thing? Oh, the shipping time frame. I do change the shipping time frame of when something's going to ship. And I do not send out offers at least 4 days before. I cut it off 4 days before. I do not send out offers because that could catch up to you too.
True.
Oh, do I have to answer this too?
I don't know if you have anything else to answer.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I do the messaging and I tell people like, go ahead and shop, but I'm not going to be here to, to get anything out until that date. But I usually don't do any activity while I'm away. So I think as long as you're consistent, like I tend to do postings like the same time every week. I think as long as you're consistent in just getting listings up, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think if you are still posting on there, you're still putting them on a few a day, you just have to know that it's going to be slower because people are going to see your handling time, that you're not going to be able to ship for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So of course that is going to prevent some people from purchasing from you. And if you do get sales, I recommend that you send messages to say, just as a reminder, because hello, they're eBay customers. They don't read. So just say, a quick reminder, hey, I'm not going to be there. It will ship then. And the other thing is when you get back, ship your items first before you go on vacation mode. Because if you don't, and you still have items to ship, if they are, come back, they'll all be late. So ship all your items, then come off vacation mode. That I've done that in the past, and it can be a nightmare.
I'm not a huge fan of vacation mode unless it's changed in the last few years.
Time away.
Yeah. I typically just, is that what it's called now? See, I didn't even know. Because I typically will just adjust my handling time and then follow up with a message if I do happen to get a sale. Most likely when you change your handling time to something crazy, YouTube doesn't like anything, quite frankly, past the next day or the same day. But you can get away with 2 days pretty easy. But when you extend it too long, you're probably not even going to show up in search unless it's something unique. So, but that's what I do. But I haven't had to use it, so I don't know what's changed.
Jojo, how do you feel about what packages should look like? I bought from somebody and it was thrown in a box with torn plastic bag. I won't purchase from them again. Is that I would say I get it because I've done it, but what I've learned as a reseller myself, this was before reselling. I would say I'm not buying from this person again. And then I wondered, like, what if I just told them I didn't like the way it was packaged? If it was make them think twice about it and maybe help them at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes when you get those packages and like the thing is not broken, it's like, how did this even get here? For me though, I mean, I come up through marketing and advertising. That was my career. So when I started this, I started with a brand and everything I do is branded. So I don't know if somebody's buying from me from eBay. I don't know if they got there through YouTube, but I treat everybody who buys from me on eBay like they're buying because they know me. So you're going to get a package that's nicely packed, probably overpacked. It's not Yvonne packed. Yvonne, I think Yvonne uses an entire roll of tape. Like she floats. You know those experiments like in high school where you had to like an egg had to survive if you threw it off of like a 20-story building. Like that's Yvonne. She has the egg and then it's like suspended by like an entire roll of tape. But mine is like packed nicely. Usually if it's a breakable, it's in something floating in paper. It's got a thank you card. It's got probably a little gift. It's got a little bow sometimes with my branded color. That's just me. Sometimes though, I'll get those eBay orders where I'm like, it's something maybe a little out of my normal wheelhouse. And I know it's shipping to like a guy in, New Mexico. And I'm just like, just, pack it real tight and put it in the box. And he's not going to care about the thank you card. But yeah, for me, it's like, it has to be done right because I want that good feedback and I want somebody to get it. And I feel a responsibility for the thing itself. Like I have curated it. I've rescued it. I've cleaned it. I photographed it. I listed it. Like it's got to get across the country to somebody who really wants it safely so that it can live on and, have its life somewhere else.
Well, Amy does way more than me. I am not putting in cards or notes or ribbon or any of that. I do like to use cute poly mailers. So, and all of my clothes go in clear plastic bags because I think that prevents lint and wrinkles and everything. So I sell a lot of clothes. So they go in that and then they go into a poly bag. I do put a little thank you sticker on there and that's about it. But my pet peeve, I think, is when people are using priority boxes and the padded mailers as their fill. Somebody said about the USPS changes coming out. Part of that is because we as a community have wasted their supplies for long periods of time. And I imagine it's coming very soon that we won't have any of those free supplies anymore because people, I mean, I've actually received packages with 12, priority padded mailers, 12 shoved in the box. That's not your packing material. So purchase American Bubble Boy, like great company, really, it's a business. So you have an expectation of how your items are going to arrive. My packaging is super clean. Even if I use recycled boxes, I make sure they're clean. They look good. There's no writing all over boxes and things like that. And if it's coming in a poly mailer, it's, it looks friendly and happy mail, I kind of call it. So when you get something, it looks cute and whatever. But I don't think you have to get fancy or anything as long as you, like what Amy said, you took care with their item. I think that's the most important thing.
Before I start, I think, aren't they discontinuing the padded flat rate envelopes now also?
Probably.
I think they're discontinuing them. That might be why I never connected the dots.
Oh yeah, I've been saying for years that it was going to be our demise of priority mail.
So great for jeans. That's the only way you could make any money with jeans, unless they were higher end jeans, was to squeeze them in one of those envelopes.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love you all, but I'm sorry. I'm not. No bows, no tying ribbons, No, okay. I do have thank you stickers that I get off eBay. They're pretty small. They got smiley faces on them. Just now, today, before this show, I ordered some stickers, some custom logo stickers, and some business cards. Just now,
Oh,
a
nice.
couple hours ago. I have never
Cool.
bothered to even do that because I don't know. It's kind of I always felt like it was a waste. I'm using recycled boxes or my free eBay boxes or things, we get a lot of deliveries between my husband and I get a lot of friend mail. And I do dumpster dive for an item, but it's perfectly clean stuff. I've already shared and given the secret out plenty of times for you all of where you can get some free, very clean plastic filler stuff. What was I going to say? I do buy bubble wrap. Now, and as far as a note, I just take a Sharpie and on one of the flaps of the box, I put hi and your name so you know I'm thinking of you. I put your name like, hi, Amy, XO Yvonne.
Oh, that's cute.
And then I've got little bags of smiley trinkets. I buy I think by now everybody has 10 of these, right? Everybody's got 10 of these. So I just ordered some more cute smiley stuff. So I make a little bag though with some smiley stuff in it for you guys that might cost me like $1.50. But I gotta wrap it and go. Do you know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, all that stuff that people send me, I usually just toss it. All these little thank you cards. I feel bad. Like people buy those eBay branded cards, like feedback. I'm like, like I don't just, where's my stuff? Did it make it here? I feel kind of bad. I mean, with the exception, like my YouTube friends will send me like maybe their sticker, and then so those I have, all put up someplace. All the cards that I get like from Kate, I've been buying a lot from Kate. I'm saving them. When I go to Ohio, I'm gonna give them back to her so she can, recycle them because they might cost her money, right? They're good ones.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I went ahead and bought cards is I was like, oh darn it, I used a different name over on Whatnot. So if I'm gonna go over to Whatnot, I better throw this card in because again, everything I do, I want funneled back to my YouTube channel.
Yep.
I love my YouTube channel. Yep. That's what I love the most. So I went ahead and did that with Vistaprint. It's just my logo, and where to find me and save the smileys.
Yeah. I think she just described everything I described that I shove in the box. She just does it quicker.
She's talking about you.
But
sorry, Amy, I don't have time for all that. I got wifey life. You got wifey life too.
I know.
I'm a dog mom.
You know what though? The Vistaprint, I did the postcard, and that's exactly why, because I've had a number of people who have received my thank you postcard with my Sharpie thank you message on it. Thanks for supporting my small business is usually what I put on there. Yeah. But they have come over to my YouTube channel because the card is in there and it says find me on YouTube and Instagram.
That's what I'm thinking. So, I got those to put in Whatnot boxes.
It works. I've found great friends and viewers through eBay because of that little card.
If you're local, you might be at the King Supers looking for your Ritz crackers, and you might see one of my cards just laying on the shelf. Sorry about that. Oops, I dropped one.
I've been wanting to do that with stickers and put it like in thrift stores.
That's great.
Why not?
Leslie, my hubby bought a pair of men's dress shoes with animal waste on it, just thrown in a box with nothing. I will tell you what I know about eBay is that their policy is that it is not to have any soiled anything. So that's part of the policy right there. You could say, hey, I want a refund. I'm not sending it back. And send a photo saying that it is soiled. And those are things you got to use the keywords to what it pertains to and not just use it to take advantage. Not saying that you are, but there's people that listen and they're like, oh, let me get through this loophole. So always have that proof and show photos when it comes to complaints like that. But that's unfortunate. I do when I still say shoes, dress shoes, performance shoes, flip-flops, sandals, chanclas for my Latinos. I do my best to clean it off and brush it off. And I say in the description that I've wiped them down and cleaned them off, at least to like the loose debris. Because I think that's another thing. There's not to be any loose debris. And I wipe that off. There will be maybe dust after it dries, but nothing where it's going to harm you. It's just barely anything like a smudge for the most part. But that's sad. I've never had that, and that's probably the first time I've ever even heard of that. Anybody have that happen to them? Ladies and gents, for those watching, it's an hour and a half. I'm not sure what time it is for these amazing busybodies, but would you like to share some info about you? There's a lot of questions I still have, but that's the great opportunity about this, that you don't have to keep going. You could go to these ladies' channels, these wonderful women, and ask them your questions yourself and follow them as I do. They're amazing, which is why I invited them here. And hopefully you get to see us cross paths on YouTube and in person in time. I know Angie's coming for the Boss Reseller Remix. I'm excited about that. Are you two coming for the Boss Reseller Remix or Camp Listing Party in Arizona at the end of the month?
That's the boss is October, right?
Correct. My birth month.
So that's a possibility. I won't overrule it. We're either going to we're taking some trip in that month because I turned 50 in October. So
seriously, Amy, I would have thought you were like 35.
I love you. So I mean, Vegas, or we're talking about doing an overseas trip, because I've been fiending to get on a plane. I haven't been on a plane since before COVID, so like I really want to travel. So I'll let you know, Sonny, if I'm coming for sure, because we will definitely.
Please do if you do.
Sure. Yeah.
Angie?
Oh, what are we saying?
Are you going to any of the? Are you going to the?
Oh,
any of the events? Which I just mentioned the Boss Reseller Remix.
Well, Kristen, a rural squirrel, and I just had a meetup over last weekend, but we are the Let's Do Lunch podcast. So if you haven't subscribed over there, we do a podcast every Friday, and Kristen and I are both going to be speakers along with Sonny at Boss Reseller this year. So we're pretty excited. I kind of love that Boss takes priority on people that are full-time resellers rather than people who are huge YouTubers. I kind of love that a lot of their speakers are just people who resell for a long time. So we have like some different advice than somebody who spends the majority of their time doing YouTube. I love YouTube, but I'm a reseller. So I'm super excited to be there and to participate. And I think Kristen is more terrified than me to talk in front of everyone, but we are super excited to go to
Y'all
that.
do great.
I'm like, we're like overwhelmed that they picked us, and we're so appreciative. But I know that there's the FlipCon. I can't unfortunately go to that one this year, but I do know that, I went last year and the networking was amazing. So if you do get a chance to go to any of those, or like any of the meetups where people have like small groups that get together, those are amazing, because you can, a lot of those don't cost any money, and you can meet people in like your kind of area that you can become friends with and learn more about, and then maybe make connections where y'all can source together, and you never know what kind of relationships you'll form with people like that.
Oh yeah, I have local reseller friends that send me pictures of stuff they know I like but they don't do you want me to get it for you? And then we meet up and we pay each other and trade merchandise.
Love that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going, Sonny. I'm not going to either one. I'll tell you what, the list perfectly that you all are doing. You're doing that one too, Sonny, right?
Yes.
Yes. I get to take over Kat's Tuesday show. I get to be the host.
She just messaged,
invite the guests.
Ladies and gents, before you all start trickling out, I'm glad we brought up Cat Listing Party, because I have one more virtual ticket to give away. We're going to be doing that here in a moment.
Nice.
So for those who left, I always tell people, watch from beginning to end. You want to support people, especially on YouTube, as we're talking about, and things that are going on in YouTube with us. It makes a world of a difference. Even 5 minutes, you come back later, watch another 5 minutes, watch it all, catch up on it. It makes a big difference. It helps us grow. And with growth comes more opportunity to provide not only for us, but give back as well. So we're going to be doing a giveaway Amy being the youngest, from what I'm hearing from them, not my words. In the private chat, do you see it on your end?
In the private chat.
Yeah. Or you could go on Instagram, whichever is easier. Give me a number from 1. There's 103 people here. 105. Let's make it 110. From 1 through 110.
Okay.
We're gonna do it that way. We're gonna pick a number rather than a tool to select a hashtag.
So you're having everybody select a number in the
Yes,
chat?
Number from 1 through 100, and let's say 15.
Okay. And just one number, and then you're going to select the one closest to that number?
Your number, yes.
Okay. All right. I just
So-
sent you a number in Insta.
An Insta.
In Insta.
That
Well,
was
people
pretty
are
interesting.
starting.
All right.
You were talking about meetups real quick.
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
Yvonne mentioned
time.
this. There is a great meetup in Ohio in September. It's not a
that.
not a boss. It's just a big meetup. But I will be there for sure because it's relatively close.
So there, everybody from the vintage community, YouTubers and viewers are coming. This is about the 3rd or 4th year that people have gone. And so I'm finally going to make it. You know, I didn't go because of COVID. It is going to be so much fun. I've already begged Sonny to put it on his schedule. You will meet people on a different side of reselling that you don't know yet that are going to love you. And Jocelyn's be there, Amy, Dagny, me, who else? Kate. Oh, so many people, and then a bunch of followers. A bunch of followers, and like,
What is the date for this?
It's on their
Like the
website.
second weekend in September. Hold on, I'll bring it up.
And I'm taking my mom too, so I'm dropping her off at family. I'm from Dayton. I got family that owns a campground in New Paris. And
Hey,
so
we made the big screen.
I'll be there extra days to go thrifting and hang out and visit.
That's amazing.
And the 13 twins are coming. Kathy, Kitty Cat's
cool.
coming.
Oh my gosh, I need to see
And
if I
Sonny
can
and Mike
make
are
that work.
coming.
I want to come. The thing is,
Free.
I tell people this all the time. My wife only gives me so much permission slips throughout the year. She would give me like 3 or 4, but she'll rip like half of those up.
It'll be so good for you though.
Oh, did you see Luis said there's a California meetup in July?
I
No.
believe-
Oh wow.
Nice.
I believe
Nice.
Derek was talking about that. Derek and Regina,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals. I believe they were talking about it. What I want to do too is get more information like this, and for the YouTube videos that I have, is try to plug it in, but not so much my words. Maybe have like a record from you, a recorded part from say one of you, for example, and it's you saying the information rather than me saying it, so that way you could put the information to the face of where you're gonna see somebody or potentially see somebody in hopes. We're gonna stop the numbers right now. Stoop. I think there was only one. I don't know if Amy was looking at the numbers because I only seen one.
I haven't been looking at the numbers.
I wasn't
Irf
even-
walked in
I had
and
a feeling.
distracted me.
The number is
I see a 74.
where do
Oh,
you see
sorry,
74?
I didn't even.
That's not the number, so it's okay. But it's already stopped. Do you see a 74?
I did, yeah.
Is that the number?
It's the closest one. I want to see, just to be on the safe side, because I thought,
I don't see 74.
okay, you are not the winner, but I was gonna say, whoa, she gonna be the closest one. And after she did it, I started seeing all the 70s. I was like, what is going on? So they must have felt you're really close, but the winner is gonna be Zach and Amy. They are often coming in, popping in, and they won. The number was 73.
Oh, congrats.
So congratulations. If you can, Zach and Amy, make sure to message me. You could email me or SonnyLasVegas 702. I'll put it up here. Email me, and what I'm going to do is send your information to Tiffany of Listing. List Perfectly. They're going to send you an information to your prize of the Camp Listing Party virtual ticket. So if you're going by chance, you could give it away to somebody. Just let me know. We could do it all again. Let me get my email on here.
Nice.
While I'm doing this, if you have more information to share before y'all head out, more than welcome.
I would just share that trying to get to like 5K. So anybody who's watching who likes to watch shop alongs, I do 2 shop alongs a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then like we've been talking about, I do a couple of sales a month. Actually, I'm adding in a Saturday just quick thrift along too. So I'm probably going to be bumping up to 3 videos a week, but they're all basically thrift alongs. I do a little bit of a different format on Tuesdays and Thursdays where I interrupt and I talk about like what I'm doing with the thing. And I definitely point out any sort of bolos that I find. So that's it. Maybe
Amy,
come over.
happy belated birthday. It was yesterday.
Yay.
I got one more thing to add to my information, which is always one more thing to add. So I'm going to be speaking at Cap Listing Party and then also at the Boss Reseller Remix. For the
Yay!
Boss Reseller Remix, I want to present something that helps me put together what community building means to me. And I figured the best way for me to do that, rather than saying I do this and people do that, I want to share your face on there. I want to do something like a project, and I'm hoping as much people as possible throughout the world, because people follow from all over, which is amazing. And I can't believe how much every week's up somebody in the world from a different location, not just in the US, like overseas, Canada, which is not overseas, but it's right above us north. And they're all over, just growing and growing. So I would love it if you could email me if you're interested in my project. It's going to be very simple, very easy. I want to have some kind of video or PowerPoint to share with others of how community building can be more than just something that's on a small screen. It's
Love
something bigger than that I believe in and others, and I want to carry it forward with your smiles and with maybe a sign, something very simple that I'm hoping just shows my thanks to you, but also represents all of us as one on a little project. So if
Like
you
a
could
minute
email
or
me,
less.
yeah,
Like a
email me.
minute or less, or 45 seconds or less.
I just want to get people to say, hey, I want to help, and then I'm going to figure out the rest. It's probably going to be like just a photo or like 10 seconds, like something very simple, but something very big when you add in everybody as much as
Everyone.
possible.
Yeah, yeah,
It could be huge and
Great,
very,
Sonny.
yeah.
very nice.
I'm in.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Awesome.
here for it.
Yeah, if you can, everybody, make sure to email me if you want to participate in that.
That's amazing.
Tell everybody who you are and what you got going on and where they can follow you.
I think I did that. So I put and Callie Louise just put my information in too. So anybody who wants to find the channel. Thank you so much, Callie.
Thank you.
Sonny,
Louis,
thank you for inviting me to this. This is amazing. In case you don't know me, I am Angie Resells. And so I've been doing my channel for a few years, but I really like to just help people learn how to do reselling. Every Tuesday, I do live listing. So from 1 to 3 Central, you can come in and just be with your people, and we laugh and we talk and we kind of work together. And the goal is to get 10 items listed during those 2 hours, just so you have someone else in the world who is also reselling with you for that time. So it kind of gives you a little coworker to jumpstart your week. We do that every Tuesday. I do have a lot of videos about just reselling in general, what I do, and try to put out helpful videos to give people tips and tricks. Reselling's my life. So this is what I live and breathe. So I try to portray that, in my videos. As Sonny said, we are going to be at Boss Reseller Remix. So we're super excited about that. And I have a podcast, Let's Do Lunch podcast with Kristen, a rural squirrel. And that comes live pre-recorded, but we premiere it every Friday at noon on Central, because our motto is you can sit with us. Everyone is welcome at our table, and we really just want everyone to feel like they are a part of our community. Obviously, that is a big part. So I love what Sonny's doing, because that is such a huge thing for me, is that everyone feels welcome, and that, you know, if you're here and you need help, we're available. So we'll love for you to follow me on my channel. And if anyone ever has questions, you can definitely reach out. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you, Sonny, so much. I'm excited to have another panel show to watch. And Friday night is a good time slot. It's a good time slot you picked. So you guys, I go by Von Thrifty Rich on Facebook page, on Instagram. Whenever I'm doing anything, I blast it out everywhere, because I don't know where everybody's at, where everybody gets their information, including the YouTube community tab. Okay. So thank you so much.
And if folks, if you're not finding your handle name, because sometimes it is a little tricky inside the chat of clicking their name and it doesn't follow through to lead you to their channel. Their names are as simple as you're seeing it there, or if not, just leave it in the comments once this is done, and you could leave it in actual video comments. I'll be connecting them, but they're also in the description for those who are new and still trying to figure out YouTube and like the videos. What do you mean description? Under the video may have at least like 2 sentences or a cutoff of the second sentence. There's going to be a little word more. Click on that. And depending on how much information you have on there, you may have to click on it again, and it'll spread everything for all the information. But their names are in there. You should be able to click on them and follow them. But I will make sure to make sure they're all in there, which I'm pretty sure they are. But if you have any questions, they are good people to follow. They're amazing women. They do things their own way, and they are successful, becoming more successful at doing it, which is why I wanted to learn from them and share from them to you, in case you're interested in doing some sales of your own. But they do more than that. They also have other platforms and are entrepreneurs and are really respectful people. I like them a lot.
You
So,
too.
Yeah,
We think you're great, Sonny.
we're fans.
I'm okay.
Like, we're fans of you. So
Absolutely.
I'm okay. New England Betty Boot, Lizette, shout out. She just had a little video. I was watching her short before today. Thank you, everybody. Luis as well, dropping down the links. Those asking questions and supporting us and learning of us is important too, to see if we're your kind of people, as most of you are our people. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night. Have an amazing weekend. Kill the garage sales. Find some goodies and share them online, because we could learn from you too. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.